Hey, this is Randy with notarubicon.com, and today I want to make a really quick, really short video talking about onboard air or off-road air options. One of the most common questions that we get right after what kind of lift do you have on the Jeep and who cut your hair, the most common question after that is, what kind of onboard air do you use, or what do you use to air up when you're on the trail? So I want to go through and show you what we've tried, what we like, what we don't like, and what we now think is the best option for airing up when you're on the trail. So like a lot of you, we started with a very small $99 cigarette lighter plug-in compressor. You know, it's 99 bucks, it's a Smittybilt, or O'Reilly Auto Parts has one, and that just didn't cut it. Once we upgraded our tires, we really started to see how slow that is, and because we go out off-roading literally every weekend, that thing was getting constant use. And after just a few months, it threw a rod and it died. So our first upgrade that we did was moving to a viair pump. Now this is the 440. It cost a couple of $100s. It hooks up to your battery each time you use it with the cables. It's just like one of the small $99 ones, except it's quite a bit faster and it's a lot more durable. We've had this for years. We used it for quite a long time. We still use it as our backup if somebody else on the trail doesn't have air, or if our primary air system stops working for whatever reason. This is still a good choice. It costs a little bit more than the cheap little $99 ones. It lasts a lot longer, it's quite a bit faster, and it's a good choice. We then upgraded from the viair to an ARB dual twin canister that we used to have. We used to have it mounted right here, and as you can see, there's no dual twin ARB compressor there anymore. If you saw our other videos about air compressors and a CO2 tank, you'll see that we had a lot of problems with the ARB. It totally died 3 times over the course of about a year and a half. ARB replaced it or had it rebuilt the first 2 times, and after the 3rd time they decided that they weren't going to stand behind their product anymore, and I was on my own. So as you can see, the ARB is gone, literally went into the trash can. Now when we had it there, and when it worked, and we had it plumbed so that we had an air port here, and we had an air port back here that we could plug right into, and it worked pretty well. But as I said, we had a lot of problems with it. Now part of the problem with it dying, even though ARB says that you can do this, part of the issue is mounting it here in the engine compartment. It gets very hot in there, and that surely, no doubt, had something to do with its early demise multiple times, even though the ARB website says it's made for high temperature conditions like that. If you're going to do a ARB installation, I would recommend not putting it up there, even though ARB says you can, because it may not last long. Mounting it inside the cabin or under the seat would probably be a better option. So after we threw out the ARB, we got the PowerTank. This is a CO2 system. You see them a lot on the trail, and this is a great system. If what you are most interested in is speed and how quickly you can air up your tires, this wins hands down. Now it does have some downsides, the main one being that you have to get it refilled with CO2. For me, I have to get it refilled after every 3 or 4 trips, depending on how much I air down and what I air back up to. That's not cheap. You know, it costs $20 or $30 to fill a tank this large up. But again, if you want speed, you cannot beat the CO2 tank. You could assemble one of these yourself. A lot of people make a do-it-yourself garage kit by buying an old CO2 tank and buying stuff bit by bit. You can save a few dollars. I preferred to have everything new and certified, working without any hassle, so I bought the whole kit from PowerTank. Now when we got the LJ, it came with something that we'd seen in a few other Jeeps before, and after using it just a few times, this now is one of our favorite onboard air options. What the previous owner had installed in our LJ was this York 210 air compressor that is belt driven, you can see the belt here, by the engine. This is an old air conditioning compressor taken probably out of an old Volvo or some larger trucks. They use these for air conditioners, and with just some simple modifications you can turn it from a Freon pump or an air conditioner pump into an air pump. And it's a pretty popular option in the TJs. You can find them now also a smaller model that will fit in a newer JK or JL. Pre-made kits cost about $1,000. You can find these air pumps at a junkyard and do it all yourself if you know what you're doing. You probably get one for a couple $100. The pump itself, if you were to get a rebuilt one, is several $100s. The way we've got it is set up is it's got air coming in here. That's a filter there. Air comes out along this line, comes up to a small cooler, which is right inside there. You can see the tubes going into there. And the reason for that is because the air that comes out of here is very hot. In addition to the air, it's got oil in it. This is called, I believe, a wet pump. So you have to keep it lubricated, and it always has an ounce or two of oil in there, and some of it will come out with the air. So by sending that air and oil mist mixture through this little cooler here, that helps to condense some of that oil mist and cool the air down. Then come from that cooler up into a special made, purpose-built air and oil coalescing filter. This actually is made to pull any remaining oil out of the air. It's got a catch can down below there, and it'll hold several ounces of oil. You have to drain that out every few months because it's pulling that oil that came from the pump way over there. It's pulling it out so that you're not filling your tires up with oil. And that is plumbed to a air pump connection right here on the bumper. We just plug our air hose into there. That second orange line runs down underneath the Jeep and comes out right here, where we can plug in and get air right there. But before it does that, it comes into this 2-gallon viair tank. So we can charge this tank up, and it'll go up to, initially it was set to go up to 140 pounds of pressure. We lowered that with a different pressure switch, so it's only about 110 or 120 pounds of pressure. So when we turn the system on with the engine running, it pumps this up full of air, and then we're pulling the air off of either the front plug or the rear plug. But the nice thing about this setup is that this little compressor is almost as fast as the PowerTank and the CO2 system. We actually pump sometimes all 4 tires from both Jeeps. We'll use this one system, and we'll fill up the 37-inch tires on the Nata Rubicon and the 35s on the Isra Rubicon in just a couple of minutes. When it's just one Jeep filling up at a time, it's just a little bit slower than the PowerTank. But the advantage is that this is basically endless air. It will run all day long, and it will never run out of air. Because of that, because we don't have to take it in and get it filled up with CO2 like you do on the PowerTank, this is becoming our favorite option. We still use the PowerTank. It's one of our favorite options. It's still by far the fastest, but the York 210 compressor, the onboard motor-driven air pump, is quickly becoming our favorite. You can get pre-made kits online for about $1,000 with all the mounting brackets and everything that you need, or you can do a do-it-yourself job. Lots of info on YouTube on how to do it for probably just a couple of $100. So there it is, our new favorite onboard air system. Let us know if you've used one of these, what you think about these, or if you have something better. If you've got something better, faster, or cheaper, leave a comment below and let us know. Thanks for watching. We hope to see you on the trail.